G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the southeast side of the map, we've got Lucifron 7 playing as the Delhi Sultanate. His opponent, who spawns on the opposite side of the map in a bit of a weird location, I would just say, is I Am Magic, and he's playing the Abbasid Dynasty. So yeah, just curiously, normally players will spawn about here, but interestingly, Lucifron spawned down here. So curious. The map is, of course, Danube River. This map is noted by the large section of water, or the river, that runs throughout the map. And we've already got a little bit of action potentially going to be unfolding here. Magic sending out a villager straight away, going to be dropping down that dock. And we've got a double scout opening here potentially. Let's have a look and see. Do we have a double scout opening? No, we don't have a double scout opening, but we've got a single scout going up against the double now. Looks like Lucifron going to be forwarding his dock on his opponent's dock, and this is exactly what the Delhi Sultanate wants to do in these matches. So typically what they want to do, we see a triple scout opening. So here's a little tip to you guys. 2 is more than 1, and 3 is more than 2. And that's why you see a triple scout opening. I love this. This is so aggressive. This is probably the greediest build that you could possibly do. I genuinely don't think there's any way that Magic can actually hold this at all. This is part of the reason why we see English as a civilization on this map, because in this situation, you'd just be able to pull your bows. You'd be able to bring 5 villagers down here and just begin firing at these scouts. And then you could, you can drop a tower down and you'd be absolutely fine. But the issue that Magic's going to have right now is that Lucifron, not only is he sieging down the dock, but he's also going to be preventing any fishing boats from actually gathering up, because these fishing boats obviously also shoot. And Magic realizes that, and that's part of the reason why we haven't seen any potential response out of Magic already. And honestly, at this point, I feel like just calling good game at this point. Obviously the game is going to take a lot longer to go on, but to be honest, for me, at this level where you've got players that are so close to each other in skill level, giving one the entirety of the water and allowing them to have that control really makes such a difference between the two. Now, obviously, there are times where you can actually forego the water, or you can intentionally lose the water, but you really have to have that as part of your plan. And I can tell you right now, Magic did not come into this game thinking, I'm going to pick the Abbasids. I'm going to drop down a dock at 1 minute, and then I'm going to have that dock siege down by 3 scouts and a forward dock by Lucifron. He did not think that. That wasn't on the cards for him. He was like, I'm going to drop down this sneaky little dock. I'm going to be making lots of fishing boats. That was essentially his thinking. And now he's in a dilly of a pickle, because he's got to start scratching his head, thinking outside the box. What am I going to do? How am I actually going to play this game now that my enemy has got full water control? And that's the tough position. So I think from Magic's perspective, the best thing that he can do at this point in time, look to age up, look to get out a second town center. That's going to be the big thing for him. Get out that second town center and start working, potentially move into a fast castle. But the thing is, you're going to need to take it late game. There's no way that you can really try and fight this at the 15-20 minute mark. If you do try and fight this at the 15 to 20 minute mark, you're just not going to have enough units out. And that's really what it comes down to. And once again, we see Lucifron. So for anybody unfamiliar, Lucifron, Vortex, these two guys are brothers, and they both do, they really emphasize scout micro. It is a huge thing that they do, and you can just see how frustrating it is. House going to get dropped down here, not a tower. I did expect, honestly, when you see triple scout out like this and sieging down the mining camp, it's like you're playing against the Mongols. It's so frustrating to deal with. Now, speaking of Mongols, there's been plenty of Mongol games so far. EGC TV's Winner Series, this game is part of that series. So right now we're down to the final 8 players. The winner of this series is going to be going up against Viper and Don Artie. So we're not going to spoil that one for you, but one scout going to be going down there. Lucifron doing a pretty decent job of just forcing his enemy to be idle, and that's exactly what he wants to do, buy himself time. And he's going to be buying it in droves by doing this. So what are we going to be expecting out of these players? So for Lucifron, I would expect that we're just going to see a fast castle. Going to be a fast castle, probably into, I would expect demo ships combined with men-at-arms and rams, maybe? That's what I would imagine it would be, but you can never really know with these guys. Gold mine, you can see that has had 100 gold taken off the top of it, so Lucifron is going to know that his opponent is able to age up. You can see how many villagers are tapping away at that landmark, wanting to drop that down as quickly as possible, and now going to be clicking up to the next stage with the economic wing. No surprises there, and I suspect he's probably going to be looking to come out onto this stone outcropping. And yeah, we can see villagers heading out in that direction now, so probably going to be looking to add in a second or even a potentially third town center. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we did see 3 town centers coming out from the Abbasid player. He knows he's going to have a timing window, and the question is about how he approaches it. So for me, I'm thinking like you can probably get away with 2 town centers into Fast Castle and then crossbows. That should be okay, but you're probably going to need to wall up. He's actually got a barracks out already, and he's going to be looking to get out a spear just to try and deal with this, but down towards the back line. So Lucifron actually adding in a second dock here for himself, and we can see that he's transitioning the fishing boats out from the front line back towards the back just to keep them safe. He's bringing them around and looking to potentially take out that one fishing boat. I think it just remains sitting out here ever so slowly, but 6 villagers going to be tapping away on that Dome of the Faith. No surprise there. It's really the only viable landmark for the Delhi Sultanate, so unfortunately they are restricted to it because the Tower of Victory, if you do build it, it will just become the Tower of Defeat. It is not fun, but now it looks like Lucifron going to spot out that stone from his opponent. He's going to know what the appropriate response is. So if I'm Lucifron and I see that, what am I thinking? I'm thinking I want to go Fast Castle. I want to go Super Fast Castle into Men-at-Arm Ram timing. But he might look to punish this in H2. He could potentially just go big, Archer push with Rams. We saw, in the very early stages of Age of Empires 4, back in the beta days, Hut would do this triple range timing. So we could potentially see something like that, where we've got, triple range coming out with a ram timing push here. So that's one thing to consider. Obviously, in this situation, Lucifron is going to get scouted out by Magic, and Magic's going to be able to respond. But speaking of responding, look at this. 3 wolves having an absolute field day here with a villager. Lucifron probably going to be losing this 100%, bringing the wolves back towards his wood line and actually potentially losing a second villager in here. He's got to be careful. The first wolf does go down. Second wolf trying its best. It manages to draw aggro onto another villager instead. That other villager is going to survive. But yeah, a little bit of a tough situation there for Lucifron. The biggest threat he's faced so far in this game has been Gaia. So we'll have to look and see how that plays out for him. But second town center going to be coming down now for Magic, right on the shoreline as well. So curious to see whether he's going to be looking to add in a dock up here towards the north and try and get himself back out on the open ocean. So we'll have to pay attention to that. Magic, on the other hand, let's take a look, and you can see he's actually gathering up that stone. So just as we expected, just as we suspected, he might actually go for a triple town center. So this is one of the things I've talked about. This for me. So for anybody who doesn't know about my history, I've been an RTS player all my life. Back when I was like 5-6 years old. Actually, I probably wasn't that old. Actually, it was a long time ago. I used to play. My favorite game was Total Annihilation. I used to play that with my dad back when I was a kid. Before that, I think I played just the original StarCraft. I played like this one game. I think it was Dark Reign. You guys would have known Dark Reign. But anyway, I played StarCraft 2, and Lucifron also played StarCraft 2. And one of the things that I learned in StarCraft 2 is that if you have a significant disadvantage in the early game on economy, you've got 2 options. Number 1 is all in. So that would be where Magic would potentially look to go like, 1 barracks, 2 archery ranges, and then do a timing push. Or not even a timing push, but just like, get out a whole bunch of units and just try and force a victory in the early game. The second option that you've got is to go big. And that's exactly what I would be doing in this situation. That's exactly what he's doing. So instead of dropping down a 2 town center boom, going for a 3 town center boom. And so really just doubling down and saying, okay, well, if there's one way I'm going to win this, it is by going big. If I just play it smart with 2 town centers, it's not going to be nearly enough. And that's the difficulty that he faces. So now Lucifron going to begin pushing in. A couple archers coming out for him. Spears out to defend for Magic, but Lucifron definitely in a strong position. Keep in mind, he's only got the single town center behind this, but archery range is down. You're going to continue funneling out units here. Not a lot of infrastructure for him, so only the single archery range. 3 scholars in the mosque, 2 mosques out for him. But we'll take a look at how the relics have spawned. So he's got 1 relic in the middle of the map, another relic out to the north, and a couple more relics around the west side of the map. But now those archers are going to be pushing in. 3rd town center going to be going up, and Magic obviously going to get this scouted out by Lucifron. So Lucifron knows exactly what he's up to, but in a bit of a difficult spot here. You can see the villagers are slowly but steadily getting taken out here. He's going to need at least some sort of response, but not going to really have it, unfortunately, as these villagers continue to just get targeted down. Unfortunately, there's only 3 archers in here, so he's going to be able to slowly but steadily get this up He's probably just going to have to bring in like 10 villagers, I think would be the best play. But otherwise, he's just going to continue losing out villager on villager. You can see that health on these are so damn low at this point. He needs to pull villagers from elsewhere. Just get him in from the gold mine and get him over here onto this town center. Just get it up. It's really imperative that it gets up ASAP. Doc on the front line potentially going to be going down as well. So really nice punishment here from Lucifron. I got to say, I love the timing on just these handful of archers. To delay this is so painful. 8 villagers on gold back here, going to secure that age up for him as well. Still no age up in sight at the moment. He's still going to need about 1,000 food before that even gets close to going up to the next age. But this Doc delay is doing a great job, and another villager going to get taken out by a fishing boat up towards the north here. But finally, these villagers are coming out, going to be dropping down this town center. He has taken out so many villagers on the front. No textiles coming through either, and now finally that town center goes up, and he's going to be able to shotgun the very first archer. You just see so many arrows just coming out, but really punishing him a huge amount there. Lucifron going to be feeling very happy with himself. 51 villagers at the moment for Lucifron. Magic sitting on 36, and you can't help but feel a little bit sorry for Magic after that. The town center was very, very close to his initial town center, but unfortunately just 1 or 2 tiles too far away, and it resulted in losing a lot of villagers there. Really unfortunate timing. First scholar of the game going to be moving out towards the sacred site in the middle of the map as well. So looking to begin that gold trickle. Keep in mind that's a 200 gold per minute trickle that's going to be coming in, and Magic obviously going to be under a bit of pressure now, because not only does he have the water economy of his opponent to deal with, but he's also going to have gold trickles that he's going to have to locate, find, and we do see that scholar is moving out down towards the south of the map. Got to be careful, there are a couple of wolves around, but he is doing a great job of just getting around it right on the edges. A couple scouts back here as well, but managing to spot out that sacred site and going to be able to secure that one up. On the front line, villagers continue to go down. Lucifron doing a great job and managing. You can see just how many villagers he's got on that food. So going to be able to get in that nice and early economy, boosted up by those fishing boats, and going to be able to click up to the next stage. So we'll have to see whether he goes for Compound of the Defender or whether he goes for the House of Learning, which is the very common. But it is the Compound of the Defender. So this is an interesting decision. I'm curious to see what route he goes with this. Do we potentially see Mass Castle? This is something that I developed personally. Not really. This was a strategy that got fed to me from somebody on the inside. They said, hey, this is overpowered and nobody knows it's overpowered. Watch out for it. And I've been watching out for it. I haven't actually seen a single person abuse it yet. It's Compound of the Defender. So I wonder if Lucifron is actually going to be the first player that I'm going to witness to abuse it. So I'm excited. You're excited. Let's all be excited together. Dow going to be coming out now, going up against Lucifron. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see a wall come across here, but obviously he's going up to the next age, so maybe a dock or two gets added in here just to secure up this water economy. He's got a lot back here. He needs to really make sure he doesn't lose this. Obviously the Dows are out and do represent quite a significant threat, so ideally you'd want to have these fishing boats focusing down this Dow and just making sure that it isn't putting out too much pressure on the map. But Siege Engineering now coming in for Lucifron. Obviously clicking up to the next age is going to be able to drop down plenty of rams if he wishes to with that Siege Engineering. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays it out now that he's going to be hitting the third age, dropping down triple stable. So we take a look at the production. He's got the triple stable, triple dock, single archery range, plenty of blacksmith. This is actually the third blacksmith? No, second blacksmith. I thought he already had a blacksmith. But only dropping down 2 blacksmiths at this stage. Now the Dows coming out. So he's got the 2 Dows. They're going to get focused down with the fishing boats. You can see they've done a pretty good job of cleaning up the archers. The majority of the archers are down. But now that ram going to be coming out. I don't know if this is enough archers to defend this ram. One of the things to note is that you kind of need enough archers to actually defend against the villager push that would potentially come out, because the villagers are faster than the ram, so something to be very cognizant of. So probably want to get a few more of those bad boys out, but we'll take a look at how the Compound of the Defender is going. He's only got 3 villagers on stone at the moment, so not really looking to go hard when it comes to stone. Sometimes we do see players just mass castle, mass keep, but we are seeing more walls being added in. We hear that wolf sound going off. And Ram is going to get chased away by a couple of villagers, managing to get inside that town center. But they're going to be able to put out a lot of pressure on this ram, undoubtedly, when they do pop out of the town center. 3 villagers just standing there idle, going to get picked off by Lucifron. He's having a field day. All of those villagers do pop out of the town center. Honestly, you could just commit to that. But yeah, Lucifron really punishing. These archers really weren't doing much, but he's turned this into a strike force at this point, and he is just putting on the hurt for his opponent. Fishing boats continuing, rather, these are Dows that are going to be cleaning up the fishing boat. So he's going to have to fall back on this front. A couple of demos going to be coming in, at least it looks like it. No, those are fishing boats. Now the demos are coming in. Explosive ships kind of like snuck in there. You can't tell the difference between them. One of them's got fish, the other's got explosives, but I tell you what, when it comes to the Abbasid dynasty, they don't mind. They'll eat both of them, it seems. So first demo going to be coming in. Let's see how it goes. It actually looks like he has identified it and is beginning to focus it down. Probably going to be able to get off the explosion. It does come off, but it doesn't look like it was manually detonated rather. So not going to be able to do a lot of damage. Town Center going to be able to support the villagers and manage to take that out. We'll do a quick stock take and see where players are up to when it comes to villager count. We've got 69 villagers for Lucifron. Very nice. And Magic on 54. He's going to be clicking up to the next age. He is up now. But plenty of resources in the bank going up with the culture wing, and he is under significant attack. You can see these lancers are in the base. They are beginning to harass him. The 3 town centers may have been too greedy, but that's the exact kind of play that you need in this situation if you're actually going to be staying in the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he manages to do it. Lancers pushing out forward. What is the appropriate response to this? So up until this point, you've sort of predicted what is going to be happening in this game, but what's the response? Now you've got a lot of lancers in your base. Do you switch? Do you go to spears? Do you go into crossbows? Do you go into springalds? There's a lot of different options. You can go into cavalry of your own, but I genuinely think the response to this is going to be walls and crossbows. I think that's the best response for this. Obviously, he's got barracks, so it's going to have to be spears. Phalanx also coming out here. He doesn't have the veteran upgrades just yet, but we do hear those slits going off. And manages to take out the majority of these lancers, but loses a huge amount of his economy. 54 villagers at the moment, so about a 15 villager difference. We can assume that Lucifron is still on 69 villagers. Indeed he is. Nice. And now towards the north of the map, more raids going to continue coming in. So much attacking happening right now. And back towards the base of Lucifron. It looks like those Dows did manage to break through, but they're going to be going up against a Backler. And a demo ship combined with that, going to be blowing up all these, sending them to the bottom of the ocean with Davy Jones Locker. I think that's the reference. Is that the reference? I'm not sure. When it comes to pop culture, I'm not the best, but I think that's it, like the bottom of the ocean, Davy. I think that's a song. Maybe it's the Jack Sparrow song. You guys know from This Is the Tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. That one. That's where it's from. That's got to be where it's from. So Pirates of the Caribbean. But speaking of pirates, it looks like more demos are coming out. More explosive Dows heading out towards the base of Magic. And looks like Dow's going to be going down on Dow action right here. 500, 200 versus 500, 200. I think the stats on these guys are equal. Looks like they're going to do a mono... What just happened? That was a swing and a miss. He's coming in for the second one. Oh my... I thought this was like a god tier ship. Like, I thought Magic had just turned on like the god hacks. Like god mode. Like he typed in IDKFA. Is it IDKFA? IDDQD? I remember it's one of those cheats that for anybody who's played Doom, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, they were cheats to Doom. I mean, we talked about Total Annihilation, an RTS game, and Dark Reign and the original StarCraft, but we haven't talked about any old school FPSs. Doom was one of my old school FPSs. God, love a bit of Doom. And I remember there were different levels that you could type in the cheats for, and it would take you to those levels. And my dad used to know these crazy different levels that you could get. But yeah, IDDQD, I think that one gave you God mode, and IDKFA, I think that one was like unlimited ammo. I think that was it. That was what I love to do. But now it looks like these demos are going to continue trading on the infrastructure of their respective players. Little bit of a push coming out down towards the south. He realizes that he's on a timer. Remember that their sacred site does continue trickling all this time, and we can see that the sacred tracker here is doing a great job demonstrating or showing us that yes, that is correct. 2 sacred sites are held by the enemy and 0 are held by Magic. There would surely be no other information we'd love to discern from a potential sacred site tracker. So thank you very much, game developers, for that. We'll switch to income per minute. I know you guys love to see that. Men-at-Arms going to be coming out now for Magic. And keep in mind, he's playing the Abbasid, so he's going to be able to add Mangonels with these Men-at-Arms in the event he needs to. But he's having a bit of a tough time. A lot of villagers here on wood, adding in the farms now, up to 72 villagers. So has probably finally eclipsed. No, he hasn't. Lucifron up to 85 villagers now. And going to continue taking out the villager line of his opponent. And in total massacre that we've got here. It's a villager massacre. 3 minutes until Sacred Site victory. We have been witnessing a lot of villager massacres in these recent games. And I gotta say, this game is another one of those villager massacres. Just, you hear them screaming out, crying out. This is an absolute massacre. Someone call Greenpeace. That's not who you gotta call. You gotta call like not the World Health Organization. Who is it? Who's responsible for massacres? I guess NATO? No, They do the mass. Oh, gosh. I gotta be so careful with how I tread. Anyway, look. Killing villagers? Bad. Don't do that, Lucifron. Go kill the enemy's military units, man. He's going to do that now. 85 villagers for Lucifron, 51 villagers for Magic. The lead continues to build right now for Lucifron. And it all goes back to that original victory position. Or victory position? I don't know if that's the right term, but that initial position that he held over his opponent on that water. And the whole game was sort of snowballed from that point. And, you know, he found a very nice timing window, Lucifron did. He saw his opponent was on 3 TC. He knew that he needed to delay it as much as possible, get in his face, and that's exactly what he did. So very well played to him. Down towards the south, it looks like an archer composition now coming out with the Lancers. Lancers have got their +1 upgrades coming through. +1 coming through for the archers as well, but obviously going to take time with these blacksmiths. And have a look how many blacksmiths he's got out. He's actually got 4 blacksmiths out. I love this. I think this is such a great investment. When you're playing the Delhi, why not? I mean, it's going to take a long time for these technologies to come through, but hey, you know, you might as well make 4 blacksmiths. The only thing is, it's a big footprint. Like, it's a lot of space. But now we see the rest of the siege beginning to trickle across the map. The Delhi obviously don't have access to making the siege on the battlefield the same way that the Abbasid do. But now that second sacred site going to get captured towards the south. Looks like a stone wall going to get added in here as well for an extra layer of defense. And now it looks like the push is starting to come towards a shove because Lucifron has got the elephants out and he is going to begin sieging down the outpost of his opponent. Mangonels out on the back line as well, looking to reinforce. He's got 3 Mangonels back here and really starting to do a lot of damage. We'll head into the cinematic mode as there's a potential battle that is going to be happening right now as the elephants try their best to retreat away from the spears, but not going to have a lot of luck. It sounds the Mangonels going off and doing a decent job providing that support, but I really feel sorry for Magic at this point because he is far behind villagers on the backline. He's added a 4th TC. He said, you know what, 3 TCs wasn't enough. I need a 4th TC, and that's exactly what he's done. Hasn't really utilized the combat of the defender for Lucifron, so he hasn't been able to match him at this point. But now Lucifron going to be adding in a battering ram on the front line as well. And we'll take a look from his perspective. He does actually spot this 4th town center as well, so could begin to isolate that, but going to take out those farms, and gosh, so much damage comes down, raining down defeat right there. But Lucifron now beginning to focus down on the rest of the infrastructure from his opponent. You really got to start asking the question, is there anything at this point that Magic can do? I think maybe a villager pool could potentially do it, but then, you know, you're playing up against 3 Mangonels. We saw what happened in that first game. Oh, here comes the villager pool. It's happening again. No, not like this. Oh, not like this. Magic falls back and oh, the villagers go down. They all go down. It was like the Spanish flu. It's been terrible. Mangonel's getting a good shot in over the top of the town center as well. Going to be focusing down those spears. The Springalds do go down. There was 2 of them there, but unfortunately they all go down. Villagers now going to get pulled. 2 Mangonels remaining. They're going to be falling back, and unfortunately they're not going to have a lot of luck, but 2 reinforcing Mangonels are going to be all that he needs and be able to cover it, and all those villagers do go down. We've seen such massacres today, and unfortunately it looks like Lucifron is victorious. Magic taps out. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this cast, make sure you check out EGC TV's Discord. I'll leave a link in the description. This has been part of the winner series. Make sure you check out the next game in the series because these 2 players are tied up at 1-1.